This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not explaining to my intern exactly what R&B is, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Bert Kawili.
And this is Miles Salvador from Australia.
And I'm Norb Kawili, also known as Norbcam.
Kung gusto niyo po ang latest news and events from the Philippines at the local Filipino community, Phil-Am Radio po.
We play Filipino music and interview guests from all around the world.
And I'll keep you updated on the latest Seahawks and sports news.
Kaya always tune in, Phil-Am Radio every Tuesday, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
And in YouTube and Facebook. Salamat po.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. I'm Granville Emerson along with my partner, Ronald Pepe B. And we host the show Lidline Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, where we talk about football, basketball, local sports, national sports, Seahawks, UW, Seattle U Redhawks, Garfield Bulldogs, all that and more right here on Lidline Sports on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Has your small business experienced property damage? Apply for the Storefront Repair Fund to receive a $2,000 grant to help cover storefront repair costs. The Seattle Office of Economic Development is investing nearly $2 million to help businesses recover from the economic impacts caused by damages to their storefronts. Grants will help cover costs such as broken windows, broken doors, broken locks, and etching on windows. Applications will remain open until all funding is awarded. Application assistance is available in multiple languages at 206-684-8090. For more information and to apply for the Storefront Repair Fund, go to seattle.gov/economic development.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Street Beat. It's me, your host, Tony B, and the beat of the city is definitely what's happening in our own backyard in the Rainier Beach area. You know, this project has been going on for a while. What I'm talking about is the rebuilding of Rainier Beach High School. A few months ago, Lydig Construction, it came in and kind of gave us the 411 on what's taking place here. We talked about the opportunities that were going to be available. We talked about the impact that this was going to have on the community. Matter of fact, this program is called Build the Beach for Us, by us. So Pat
Tony
is back again. Pat McGlothlan, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Tony. How are you?
Well, good to see you again. And you're here to give us an update on what's been taking place in the Rainier Beach area. And so for those of you who may not know, let me kind of give you a recap, and then I'll let you jump in and tell us about who you are and who Lydig is as well. Anyway, so since 2012, the Rainier Beach has been trying to do this through the Building Excellence 5 School Levy. All right, so Again, and this may sound a little bit wonky, but this is the information, and we'll get the Building Excellence 5 school levy. Rainier Beach High School will be rebuilt with a new multi-story high school of approximately 234,000 square feet when it's completed, and it will again provide a permanent home for over 1,600 students in grades 9 through 12. Well, this has been a process in getting to this point. Once again, you know, this is our community, so there are things when something like this comes about that are of concern to us. When you're working in our community, how does that impact our community? What thoughtfulness is given to the folks who are in the community? And, you know, when money comes into our community, one of the problems is that oftentimes it doesn't stay in our community, it leaves our community. So what's being done to ensure that those dollars turn over? Because that's critical in a project like this within our community. So it's a lot more than just building a high school. But building a high school is important, and providing an educational facility in our community is critical as well. And so we want to know how that's working out and how just everything that's going on. Let's start off like this, Pat. Let's talk about Lydig Construction, who Lydig Construction is, and how you ended up getting the contract for this project.
Yeah, so Lydig is a general contractor, state of Washington. We have an office here in Seattle and an office in Spokane. We really, pride ourselves on being community builders. We do a lot of K-12 projects, which is really kind of what led us to working on Rainier Beach High School. I'll say the project itself has, and a lot of the focus that you've already alluded to, but the community focus, the not just WINBY subcontracting, but really trying to dive a little deeper into minority women subcontracting, into workforce. How are we really engaging, community into the projects we're working on? I think those aspects really made this a project we wanted to work on. A lot of pursuits, you always just need work, but this one was one that really stood out in a lot of those unique ways that really drew our interest.
And what is your role?
So I'm a senior project manager. So I'm in charge, at the end of the day, I'm in charge of kind of everything from very beginning on this project to the very end of the project. So how, we create some of our strategies around the workforce and around the subcontracting, how we bid this out. I work with Tim Casad, who's our chief estimator and vice president of pre-construction. So him and I work closely. At the end of the day, I work with the successful bidders. We execute the contracts, work with the design team to get the project completed, and then hand it over to the community at the end.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, Tony Benton, Tony B. Tony Benton, too. It's not like I'm two different people. I'm the same dude. But for those of you who have been listening to me for, literally decades, it's Tony B. As a member of the community, it's definitely Tony Benton as well. And this project that we're talking about is a huge project in our community. Build the Beach by us, for us. This whole campaign that's going on. The issue for a lot of folks is just building the school and making sure that our students have a school that's up to standards, that's up to date, that's functional in the way that needs to be functional, that's 21st century, that at least gives the infrastructure to provide the quality education that is deserved. Now, the other part that we're talking about, because that's a big deal, is again, some of those things that go into that, which are also part of building our community. So if you're saying, well, I want to hear about how the construction's going, we're going to get to that. And, but I want to frame this by saying the initial process of when this first happens, and you say community engagement. I think this is before anything is torn down, anything is built up. There's a process that starts, right? Tell us about where we're at in that process, or where we're at now, what that process was.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say we're roughly 18 months onto working this project. And we've been on site for about 6, which means that about a year ahead of even setting foot on site, we were having strategy conversations and implementing some of those pieces of the plan. So at a very basic level, step 1 was get out in the community and make ourselves available so we can get input from the community. We can communicate what we're doing. We can really start to engage with the community. You can't do that if you're not getting out there.
Okay. And over that course of that time, what have been Tell us what's taking place, what you consider to be successes, and again, just providing all this information because everybody's not stepping into this saying, oh, I'm familiar with Build the Beach for us, by us.
Yep.
This is good. Some people aren't going to until there's a new school there. And there's no reference on our community. That's people are busy. We got a lot going on in the world right now. However, this is critically important, which is why I appreciate you taking the time to stop by here and have open, honest, and frank conversation.
Yeah.
So, what have you considered to be the successes? Because these are things that people may not see so far in this process of engaging community while still saying we got to build a high school.
Yep. I would say, as we kind of led up to the project, that year runway to setting foot on site day one, really workforce and subcontract, maybe subcontracting were kind of the two goals. We're trying to build awareness that there are bids coming up, that anybody interested in bidding, women and minority-owned businesses, that these are available opportunities. If you have questions on the process, what the bid form looks like, what are the scopes, all those things that sometimes can be barriers of people get surprised with information or they're told after the fact. So we were trying to really get out ahead of that and make sure everybody knew about those opportunities. And I would say we've seen great results to date. We're about a third bid out overall, but so far we're seeing about 75% participation in the bidding process from women or minority-owned subcontractors. So that's kind of our North Star there is if we don't have any of our priority groups bidding, they're not going to be low, right? We've got to make sure we're maximizing our women and minority-owned subcontractors in the process. Then the results we really want will come out of that. But that's really our goal, is driving as much participation. And so that's kind of one success. We have 2/3 of it left, so we have a ton of work ahead of us still. But I would say out of the gate, we're seeing initial results there, which is fantastic.
So is construction going on now? Is there construction going on?
Yep.
Now? Okay.
So we've done a bunch of prep work. We've demolished some of the outbuildings. We've got site ready.
Demolished mean gone, destroyed. Parts of Rainier Beach that used to be there are gone. All right. Is this visible from the street or?
It is. We're a little bit on the north side of the site, so it's not as visible from Henderson.
Yeah.
But
because you could be driving by and not know this is going on. But that's what I'm saying. Some things are gone. Things are happening now. This is in motion. Okay. Go ahead.
So a lot of talking about sustainability a little bit ago. Geothermal wells are one of the really sustainable features of the project.
Whoa, wait, what is that again?
My dumbed down contractor version is we're basically running tubes into the earth and exchanging the earth's heat with the mechanical system of the building effectively. So we're getting free heat from the earth and using that to heat the building, which is a really, it's not cutting edge anymore, but it's not super common across the country, and it's really one thing that's going to set Rainier Beach High School apart.
Well, good. That's one of those things that we can't see that we should know as a community. So thank you. It's just taking stuff that's at 30,000 feet and putting it on the ground so we can all understand it.
Yep.
Yes. But what was that fancy term you used for it again?
Geothermal.
Geothermal heat.
Or geothermal wells.
Geothermal wells.
Yep.
Okay, that's geothermal wells, and that's taking the Earth's natural heat.
Yep. So we're drilling 300 total holes that are 350 feet deep each, and basically a tube goes down and up all those holes. They all get connected to what we call a manifold, and then those pipes come into the building and run through the building's heating equipment. But those wells, if I did the math right, it's about 40 miles of tubing that's getting run out on site as we speak.
Awesome. So I'm going to continue this conversation on what you're doing, but I'm doing two things parallel to each other.
Yep.
Was the community engaged, involved in that process? Were members of the community subcontractors in that process?
Yep. I would say the drilling itself is pretty specialized. There's not a lot of businesses there. All the prep work leading up to it, we saw some great participation there. So we had a lot of site demo work, some building demo and abatement, where we're able to really utilize some minority and women-owned businesses there.
Cool. So has building started? You said you're demolishing things. Are you now constructing things?
We are laying the foundation. literally.
Okay.
So another piece we have to do is before we pour the concrete slab is a thing called aggregate piers, but we're effectively kind of improving the existing soil so it's ready for that additional structure. So we're about two-thirds of the way through that process, which again is more stuff in the ground that you don't really see. But once we're done with that, then we're getting into what people might be more familiar with concrete slab. You start to see the steel structure come up. So that'll be as we get into the first of the year, you'll see those types of things that'll be more visible.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world. It's me, your host, Tony B. This is Street Beat. My guest is Pat McGlothlan of Lydig. And what's your title again?
Senior Project Manager.
Senior Project Manager. So I got a dude here who can answer some questions. We're talking about Build the Beach for Us, by us, which is the campaign to ensure that the community is included. Is that, and just making that in a small thing, that pretty much describe what it is?
Yep.
Because if not, you have the chance here to extrapolate on that if you want to.
What it is,
Okay. And so what that means is you're supposed to be involved and engaged in this process, not only in finding out information, but having a voice in this project and also getting some of the benefits, the finance, the money that comes through this that should support our community that's happening in our project. And we're going to find out what else is going on here. But a little review. Have any students been displaced so far, or are all the students still in the old structure of the high school?
Yeah, the school will be occupied the whole time we're on site. So that was a priority really early on before we were involved with the community, that they did not want to go through the process of being relocated, which is detrimental. We try to minimize it, but at the end of the day, you're getting displaced to a different school. And so that was a major priority. And so a lot of the work in the design up front was to how can we build the building essentially next to the existing, move everybody into the new, and then we'll tear down the old. It's effectively what we're doing. We're kind of call it flipping the site. So the students will be in the existing school the whole time during construction.
And where are we at right now in regards to folks saying, okay, when am I going to start seeing something happen? You know what I mean? Just something visible.
Yeah.
Where the new walls are going up, new schools going up. And at that time, is it going to be 2023 where students will start, changing from being in the school that they're in to this new school that's being built on the same site? Is that?
It's going to be a little further than that. You will start to see you see some drill rigs now, but nothing really. It's going to be, call it May, we're going to start having steel. At that point, you'll really see the building. When you're driving around the block and in the neighborhood, you'll see the structure. The students won't be moving in until the end of 2024 or the fall, winter of 2024. So we have a fair amount of work ahead of us before we get to that kind of ribbon cutting point.
Yeah. But if your student is at Aki-Karosi or or South Shore, that's where they're going to be.
Yep.
And so by that time, that'll be. Will there be a portion of this process again where students will be again in both schools and utilizing, because how are you going to do this?
Yeah. So the whole school actually is now 290,000 square feet is the current numbers. We're building about 250 of it, round numbers, in this main phase. And so the vast majority, everything but the theater will be complete. So when the students move in, they're going to be totally out of the existing and into. So they'll have the classrooms, the library, the gymnasium, everything they need except for the theater. But there won't be kind of a split move. So we're trying to, again, really minimize the impact to the students, one, while we're on site, but just let's get to a single move. But then there'll be a final year of the project where we're completing that theater.
Now, there's also the sporting activities. There's the football field, track and field area, and there's also the baseball diamond in the background. Are these things going to continue to exist? Bottom line I'm getting to is Rainier Beach going to have a home field, for sporting events?
Yeah, while we're in construction, access has been cut off or reduced. The baseball fields are part of where the geothermal wells are going.
Okay.
So those aren't in use, but when we're done, those fields will be turned back over, and they're getting upgraded as well. So new turf, all that stuff's going in. The football field, same thing. We're going to do turf improvements and track improvements. That is left for the school to practice on right now. But just with parking and things being constrained, it's not open for games. But when we're all complete, it's definitely going to be home field. It's a really cool design where the grandstands of the football field are really integrated into the building itself. So as you walk out kind of from the second level commons, you'll be overlooking the football field. And it's going to be a really, really cool structure when we're done. Yeah.
Okay. Man, you couldn't bring me any artist renderings so I could...
I could have, but I didn't. I don't know why. We can fix that.
You know, add some visualization. I mean, the theater of the mind thing is cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, that. But maybe we can figure that out.
Fix that,
and make that happen. You're listening to Street Beat. It's me, your host Tony B. We're talking about Build the Beach for Us by Us. Rainier Beach High School. It's going to be torn down. It's going to be rebuilt. It's a big deal, clearly, but the impact is, again, you can see if you're a parent who has a child that's in K-5, you know, and or in middle school. Whoa, this is going to be a different Rainier Beach High School. So it impacts folks in a lot of ways. And again, even the community that's surrounding the area receives messages in different ways. It's a very diverse community, as you know, so there are multiple languages spoken. Then there's the businesses around the area. And then there are the things that are going on within the area, some of them absolutely amazing. Some of them, again, they were just reflections of our community. If you don't like them, it's part of our community. And so this thing that you're doing plays a very important role in what we're doing. So let's talk about some of the opportunities that are available now for folks to have, because it's not too late, because you're still in this process. And I think that you would agree with me. And as we continue to build, more people will know. And all along the way, there will probably, I'm guessing, should be opportunities. Otherwise, you'll come back here and explain to me why no more opportunities exist for folks to engage. So anybody who's out there going, hey, you know, well, wait a minute. What kind of opportunities are there out there now for folks who say, I want to be involved in this process, but may not even know what that looks like for them?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest potential for, you know, just a listener who's not a subcontractor is really in the workforce side. And pretty high level, but long story short, the Seattle Public Schools has entered into a labor agreement with the local trades. And the really, really basic version of that is they are prioritizing Seattle Public Schools students, which really means graduates or people that have attended Seattle Public Schools, as well as Seattle Public School households. If you are a parent, if you're a relative, if you're just a caretaker of a Seattle Public School student, as well as people of color and women in the workforse. But what that really does is gives us a huge opportunity in that the trades have said, we agree to prioritize you know, these identified priorities in the workforce on your project, Seattle Public Schools. And you know, Rainier Beach is one job, but the BEX 5 bond that you mentioned is over $1 billion of work. So that's a ton of potential. And so really what we want to do is get the message out there that if you yourself is interested in getting into construction trades, if you have a relative, if you have a friend, a family member, we really want to connect with you. We do what we call an intake, but basically talk to you, see where you're at. Maybe you have experience in the trades already and you just need a connection into the pipeline. We can, that's really straightforward. Maybe you're a person that has some barriers and you need some support with a driver's license or insurance or whatever to get to a point where you could go through a pre-apprenticeship program. We can take care of that as well. There's a ton of resources available. And I would say one of our greatest strengths is that we can kind of serve as a single point to understand where someone's at and get them connected with the right resources to get them into a construction career.
Okay. And I'm just going to clarify so that we can be clear. When you say we can take care of that, you mean you can connect someone to resources. You're not a social service organization. Correct. So you can connect someone.
We can help work through that
put
process.
You in the right direction is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool in the gang. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world. It's me, Tony B. My guest is Pat McGlothlan. We're talking about building Rainier Beach High School, basically. Build the beach for us, by us. So that part of it right there, the Build the Beach for us, by us, Is there still room for commentary and input on what this high school is going to ultimately look like, or has that pretty much been done and you're in the phase where, well, we've done design already? And
I would say it's pretty well done. We're to the point where the design is what we call 100% CD or 100% construction document. And so that is really the milestone that the design team has gotten to, and they then hand it to us. Then that's when we take those and go bid it. So I would never say the door is shut, but it's definitely, the design is nearly complete at this point.
Okay. Tell me a couple of things about this design, since we don't have any. I'm just nailing you. Tell me a couple of things about the design that you want to share with folks that you're really excited about, that you'd like folks to know about what's coming.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's literally going to be one of the most sustainable high schools in the nation. It's not about the city or the state or the school district. It really is going to set the bar and be in a group of a handful of buildings from a sustainability perspective in the country. So it is really going to be upper echelon. The quality, the technology, the resources that are going to be in this facility are going to be second to none in the country. So it is going to be a top-rate facility. I think from a design standpoint, it's got some really cool features. I mentioned the grandstands and kind of the connection with the football field. I hear the community sometimes enjoys basketball games in this gym, right? This new gym is going to be larger than the existing. It's going to have more capacity for those community members to watch the games. And that facility is going to be first rate. It's going to have it's kind of has this multi-story atrium space in the middle that really connects the dining area and the library and the classroom area. Is kind of all connected throughout the center of this building. So when you walk into this, it's going to stand out and be a really exciting experience.
Wow. I know the court is called Crawford Court for Jamal Crawford. Are you going to take that same court and move it to the new?
We are not.
Okay.
It is still going to be Crawford Court.
Okay.
But the basically the existing gym is a different size than the new.
Gotcha.
And it's going to get upgraded to kind of the latest materials and things like that. So it will be a completely new floor, but it will still be Crawford Court.
Cool. Thanks for coming, man, and giving us this update. I'd like to give you the opportunity for final words here, anything that you would like to share with our community, whether that would be, again, additional updates about what's taking place or information, that folks can use to take advantage of the opportunities. Make sure you give website address and contact information for folks, and whatever you want to say.
Yep. Yeah, I think first and foremost really is reach out to us if you have questions. If you are a subcontractor or supplier that can potentially participate in the job, we want to hear from you. If you're a community member that is interested in the workforce or know someone who may be, please reach out. We have a website, buildthebeachforusbyus.com. You'll find my contact information there. You can always call our Lydig office, 425-885-3314. Ask for Patrick, and we can just connect. There's a lot of different avenues and ways that we can help contribute to the community. And they all start with just trying to connect, understand what your business is or your personal situation to get into the trades, or whatever way we'd be able to connect. But it really starts from reaching out, and I really just ask everybody to trust us enough to make that initial connection.
All right, Pat, we'll be talking again.
Thank you, Tony.
Yep, that's it. That's all the time I have. That's going to do it for the kid. It's me, Tony B., your host of Street Beach, saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. I'm out. Peace.